Hello students, let us continue chapter 3 Fiber to Fabric. Let us now discuss activity 3.5. Collect pieces of silk cloth of various types and paste them in your scrapbook. You can find them in a tailor's shop among the heap of waste cut pieces. Take help from your mother, aunt or teacher and identify the types of silk such as mulberry silk, tassar silk, eri silk, muga silk, etc. Compare the texture of the silk with that of the artificial silk pieces which contain synthetic fibers. Try and collect pictures of different moths whose caterpillars provide the various types of silk. Now in this activity you have to collect pieces of different types of silk and stick them in your notebook. Now they can be found in a tailor shop and you can take help from an elder to identify the types of silk. Which are the types of silk? There are mulberry silk, tassar silk, eri silk, muga silks, etc. These are natural silks. On the other hand, there are artificial silk which contain synthetic fibers. You can try to collect the pictures of different moths whose caterpillar provide various types of silk. Next, activity 3.6. Take an artificial, that is synthetic silk thread and a pure silk thread. Burn these threads carefully. Did you notice any difference in the smell while burning? Now, burn a woolen fiber carefully. Did it smell like burning of artificial silk or that of pure silk? Can you explain why? In this activity, you are asked to take an artificial silk thread and a pure silk thread. Then burn both of these and differentiate between the smell while burning. Do the same to a woolen fiber and note down the observations. Now you don't have to perform this activity on your own. The observation is that the smell of burning of pure silk and wool is similar to the smell of burning hair, while burning of artificial silk thread smells like burning of plastic. To remember when the cocoon stage is reached in the life history of the silk moth, try the following activity. Activity 3.7. Photocopy figure 3.9. Cut out pictures of the stages of the life history of the silk moth and paste them on pieces of cardboard or chart paper. Jumble them. Now try and arrange the stages in the correct sequence. Whoever does it fastest wins. You may also describe the life history in your own words. Write it down in your scrapbook. This activity is to remember the life history of the silk moth. You can try this activity on your own. Next, in India, women are significantly involved in various kinds of industries related to silk production. These are rearing of silkworms, reeling of silk from cocoons, and processing of raw silk into fabrics. By their enterprise, they contribute to the nation's economy. China leads the world in silk production. India also ranks among the leading silk producing countries. Now, women in India are involved in silk production by various kinds of activity. Which are the activity? The activities such as rearing of silkworms, reeling of silk from cocoons, and processing of raw silk into fabrics. They contribute to the nation's economy by their enterprise, which means a business. Enterprise means a business. China is a leading producer of silk in the world. India ranks second in the list of leading silk producing countries. Let us now discuss the discovery of silk. The exact time of discovery of silk is perhaps unknown. According to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Xilankai was asked by the Emperor Huang Ti to find the cause of damaged leaves of mulberry trees growing in their garden. The Empress found white worms eating up mulberry leaves. She also noticed that they were spinning shiny cocoons around them. Accidentally, a cocoon dropped into her cup of tea and a tangle of delicate thread spread from the cocoon. Silk industry began in China and was kept a closely guarded secret for hundreds of years. Later on, traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries. The route they traveled is still called the Silk Route. Even though we cannot say the exact time of discovery of silk, according to a Chinese traditional story or myth, the Emperor Huang Ti asked the Empress Xilankai to find the reason behind the damage of leaves of the mulberry tree growing in their garden. She found that there were white worms eating the leaves. That is why the leaves were damaged. She noticed that the worms were spinning shiny cocoons around them. One of the cocoons accidentally fell into her cup of tea and thread separated from the cocoon. That's how silk was discovered in China and the silk industry began there. It was kept a secret for hundreds of years. Later, traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries. The route traveled by them is called the Silk Route. Let us now discuss the next topic, from cocoon to silk. For obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. Now we know that silk is obtained from silk moths. So moths are reared to obtain silk. For that their cocoons are collected because we get silk threads from cocoons. So now let us discuss rearing silkworms. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. The farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae to hatch from eggs. This is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. The larvae, called caterpillars or silkworms, eat day and night and increase enormously in size. Hundreds of eggs are laid by a female silk moth at a time. Silkworm farmers buy these eggs that are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper. Then these eggs are kept under hygienic and suitable, that means stable, condition of temperature and humidity by the farmers. Once the eggs get a suitable temperature, they are warmed for the larvae to hatch from the eggs. These larvae are given freshly chopped mulberry leaves, and this is done when the mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. They eat day and night and their size increases. They increase enormously, means they become huge in size. The worms are kept in clean bamboo trays along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillars stop eating and move into a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. Small rags or twigs may be provided in the trays to which cocoons get attached. The caterpillar or silkworm spins the cocoon inside which the silk moth develops. Now the worms, that means the caterpillar or the larvae, are kept in clean bamboo trays, and in this tray freshly chopped mulberry leaves are kept. They feed on these leaves, and after 25 to 30 days, the caterpillars, that is the larvae, they stop eating, and in one tiny corner or chamber of the bamboo in the tray, they move and they start spinning cocoons. Now this tiny chamber of bamboo has small rags or twigs so that the caterpillar could spin the cocoon and they can be attached to it. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar or silkworm develops into a silk moth. Let us discuss processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in special machines which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fiber are then spun into silk threads which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. Now, during processing of silk, lots of cocoons are used and then silk fibers are obtained. For that, cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam because hot water makes the silk fibers of the cocoon to separate out. The long silk fibers are obtained by unwinding the thread from cocoon. This process is called reeling the silk. That is the process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. This process is done in special machines and these machines unwind यानी कि unroll और uncoil cocoon के fibers को खोलते हैं. These fibers are spun into silk threads and these threads are woven into silk cloth by weaver, who is a person who weaves clothes.